And so you've warned the nation. What was it like to speak to the government?
Frustrating. Let me share. You mentioned the hospital.
Yes.
A lot of what I put into the book are basic things and autobiographical. As I started working on this book, my father, a proud veteran of World War II, gave 6 years of his life to this country. He was a cavalry trooper, an actual mounted cavalry trooper. Dad was fighting out the last weeks of his life, and he was going out like the sergeant that he was. Terrible storm came up and blew out the power grid of Black Mountain. I got a call from the nursing home that they needed help. I drove up there through this driving terrible storm. They had no water. And I went and I got 25 gallons of water from an emergency supply depot, which became difficult because they were passing out 1-gallon containers. And some people might, Black Mountain's a peaceful little town, but people were getting upset already. It's like, why are you getting 25 gallons of water? But the part in the book that you reference is, in the novel, the main character goes in to get his father-in-law out of the nursing home 4 or 5 days into the crisis. And the horror of what's happened. Think about a nursing home where there's no water, there's no sanitation, there's no refrigeration. The medical supply system has dropped down so that people, if you're familiar with nursing homes, a lot of medications are delivered there only on a daily basis.
That's right.
So if the grid goes down 2 or 3 days later, your grandfather, who's in the final stages of fighting cancer, no longer has pain medication.
That's right.
I get called in to the nursing home. My father is on oxygen, respirator. And I'm watching the emergency lights, and I turn to the nurse, and I asked her, what happens if the emergency lighting system goes off? What about oxygen for my father? They said, well, we have some pressurized oxygen bottles. I said, suppose it goes for a day or two. Then what? He said, well, have this squeeze ball that you put over his face. Then I asked, you mean I will sit here and keep pushing air into my father until I become so exhausted I have to stop and sit back and watch him die? And that is what we might have to face unless we're prepared.